Welcome you guys to a brief tutorial on how to complete the bulk meal service plate cost calculator. Just want to walk you through how it's set up and some of the terminology that looks a little bit different with this one compared to some of our other plate cost calculations. But again, I do want to point you first and foremost to the instruction tab. It's the first one down at the bottom, and it'll walk you through any places where you get stuck. If you'll just read through before you get started, I think that's going to help you more than anything. The bulk plate cost calculator, it's a lot less information to plug in here, but it's going to be a little heavier on the back end, so don't get too excited just yet. But again, all we're plugging in here is we're looking at our indirect cost rate, which is up here. So we need to make sure we plug that in. And then we're going to talk about or plug in here the number of cycled menus that you're using. So the terminology here says weekly cycled menus. Bulk service is a little bit different. So what we're looking at here is how many times are you doing a unique menu for a bulk service pickup. So if you're doing it 4 times over the summer and each time you're doing the same thing, that's one cycled menu. But if you're doing it 4 times over the summer and you're doing different things each time that you have a bulk service pickup, then that would be 4 separate ones. So it's just how many different menus are you working with for your bulk service pickup. I'm going to switch over to this one. It's my example. So my indirect cost rate is 12.8, and I am just doing one menu each time that my students come to pick up. So for my sample here, I'm doing a 10-day bulk service. And so I am just doing one cycled menu. So across the bottom says food cost for week 1. We'll do food cost first and then other cost. So at this point, when you start plugging this information in, you've already put in a significant amount of work. You have looked at your menus, you have put your menus into grocery orders, and then within the grocery orders, you've bulked the items that you can. So you've turned your milks, instead of individual pints, you're putting, or half pints, you're putting them into gallons. You've got bulk bags of fruit that you can combine together. So that's the nature of your bulk service. That's how you're qualifying to do this type of program. So now we need to put our items in bulk. So although I know your boxes or your bags have everything all mixed together, so they're picking up their one set of things that's inclusive of breakfast and lunch for the purpose of our plate cost calculator, we do need to divide them out as best we can. It's not going to be perfect, and that's hard for accounting minds to want to be okay with. But when we put down a gallon of milk, we don't need to have a half gallon here and a half gallon there, because you're not buying them as half gallons, you're buying them as a gallon. And so we need the gallon cost. So in some instances, for my example, I have my milk all on my breakfast. So that's going to inflate my breakfast plate cost just a little bit. But overall, we're looking at, and we'll look at the summary page in a second, we're looking at the overall reimbursement. So in this case, again, I've got sausage biscuits and cereal that I'm giving to my students throughout the week. They can alternate. So I've got cereal cups, I've got 2-ounce cups, and the unit price here, so I'm doing 2 cereal cups over the course of the week. Gallon of milk. In order to have enough milk, I needed more than a gallon, because not only is it breakfast, but it's also lunch. So I had to add in 4 8-ounce shelf-stable milks there. And then I've got a pack of 6 for my applesauce, a box of 8 for my sausage biscuits. I've got a 4-pound bag of oranges, and then I've got a 10-count pack of shelf-stable juice. Again, I've costed out those unit price, the quantity that are going to be there, so then my total cost. Did the same for lunch over in green. All of those items are costed out based on what's on the bag. So it's not the individual cost, it's the whole bag. And the reason why we're doing that with the bulk meal service, sometimes, for example, on the 3-pound bag of potatoes, we don't want to get just the cost of a potato per plate. There's going to be some excess in that. That's just the nature of bulk service. There's going to be a little bit of extra potatoes. So we're not costing it out individually. We're costing out based on what we're actually purchasing to get the overall cost, not just the individual serving, because in bulk meal service, there will be extra. So we need to get our whole cost. So again, so all of this totals at the bottom. Some of these numbers are just helpful for you. You know that there's 12 items that should be in your breakfast bulk bag. There's 18 items that should be in your lunch bags. And then the number of bulk packages provided, This is not a number that you plug in here. You're actually going to plug it in on a different side. So all of these, none of them require any entries. If it's a colored box in this worksheet, it's got a formula behind it. So you don't have to worry about touching it. The only ones that you'll plug anything into are white boxes. So up here, we're just plugging in our food items, and we plug in up here the number of days that are in this bulk service. And again, terminology, week one, it's really bulk service one, bulk service two. But we're used to working in weeks, so just give a little grace with that terminology. So although it's 10 days for me, it's my bulk service one. It's listed as week one up there and down at the bottom. So the other costs that we need to account for here are our labor. So I've got 6 staff members helping me do this. I've got a ton of volunteer staff. I've seen what you guys do. You get a lot of people to come in and help, but I am paying for 6 people to come in. And this is their hourly rate. And again, this will be based on the people who have said that they're going to work and the hours that I plan to give them. So 3 people are just going to be there on the maybe getting ready the day before service. So they're working a single day once groceries come in. But I've got 2 people that are coming in for 16 hours in the week. So maybe they're on the truck days. And then I have a manager that's running it. This looks like just over part-time. So maybe 3 days a week that a manager is going to be there. So these are the staff that I have, their rate, and the number of hours that I have them contracted to work for this 1 week. Okay, so each week I've got different numbers of people or different hours that I might have working. So total students served, this is your other white box here. Again, everything else is auto-calculated. Total students served. So in this case, I am preparing for 1,000 students to come through. That means that 1,000 students are going to participate in my bulk meal service. This box below, I don't want it to stress you out. Total meals that are provided in the bulk service. So there were 10,000 breakfast meals and 10,000 lunch meals. Understand that when we go to calculate it, I'll show you in a second, that it's not going to make it 5,000 breakfast and 5,000 lunch. It has 10,000 breakfast meals and 10,000 lunch meals that went to 1,000 students over a period of 10 days. So let's go back to the summary analysis. Here's the number that I want you to see. So it pulls for breakfast service at my indirect cost rate of 12.8. The total food costs that pulled over from my breakfast list, there are 10,000 of those breakfasts that I am preparing. Okay, I've got 1,000 kids that are coming. I have 10 meals inside, so that's 10,000 meals that were served. My total labor cost based on those 6 people that I have planned coming in is $670. And then I just did that one menu. If I had more menus, it would average in cost over the other bulk service times. So once everything is calculated out, look at this labor cost. That's right. It is 7 cents per meal that are going to labor, but that's the beauty of bulk service. You've got a couple days where you work really hard, and then the other times you're off completely. So we're doing a lot of saving on labor here. Indirect costs. So my average total plate cost is $3.49 for breakfast. Again, remember, we've got all the milk there on breakfast, so don't let that alarm you too much. Same calculations over here. Cost for all the lunch items, the number of lunches that were served, the total labor cost. Okay, I do want to explain the formula behind this, and you can see the formula up at the top there. The total labor cost on our tab, so we had these 6 people, was $2,032. Well, we don't count that $2,032 for lunch and for breakfast. That is the one single labor cost. So at breakfast, we are allotting from that $2,000, 33% of that is going to breakfast. And then we're allotting 67% of that 2,000 for lunch. So collectively, that 1,361 and 670, when we add it together, is our total labor cost for those 6 people and the hours that they're working. So if you're wondering where those numbers are coming from, that's how they add it out. Again, 1 weekly meal. So this gives me total $4.17 for my lunch. So the reason why it's going to be okay that we put all that milk on our breakfast. When we are doing, let's say you're doing SFSP reimbursement, you're submitting your claim for 10,000 breakfast and 10,000 lunches. You end up, your food costs collectively are at like $7.98. And no, I take that back. Your food costs are $7.66. That math's a little better. But your reimbursement is going to be $7.98 collectively with both of those programs. So you are 32 cents per plate under what your SFSP reimbursement is. So again, those labor savings are huge whenever we're doing our bulk meal service over the summer and going through that SFSP part. If you have any other questions regarding the bulk meal service, understand this is new for us. We've tried to get this tool out to you so it could be helpful. If you've got questions about functionality, if you have questions about why something calculates the way it does, or any feedback in general, I would welcome it. I would love it. Stephen and I have worked on this together off and on throughout since fall to make sure that we have this ready for you guys. So please let us know if you've got any comments, concerns, or enhancements that you'd love for us to make. I think on the original plate cost calculator, it goes out to 6 weeks. I'm going to scroll across the bottom here. Oh, no, it goes out to 4 weeks. So if you do more than 4 bulk service menus, you'll need to reach out to us to let us know that that part of the workbook is locked. You won't be able to add new tabs. We'll just have to do that for you here. So not a big deal at all. Just let us know if you need more than 4 that you're doing throughout the summer. Good luck. I hope your summer programs go well. And again, reach out to us and let us know if you have any questions.